a popcorn ball. I got a fudge bar.
I got a pack of gum.
I got a rock.
All these movies are the same. A creepy mask guy dude shows up. Some people make a bunch of stupid mistakes. They die. Yada, 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 yada. Come on. It's all the same damn thing. Just give me something original for once. Show me something actually scary.
Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pack adds the 3 benefits we previously introduced, starting at this pricing plan.
Oh my god! So, as all of you probably know by now, Nintendo just released their online expansion pack a few days ago. And I didn't even want to get it, but I really wanted to make this video, so $50 down the drain. But aside from that, I was just really interested in the service as a whole. Not because I really cared about the games, but I just wanted to see if there would be anything Nintendo would do to truly make this service worth it. I didn't think so, but I at least wanted to give it a try. So, after trying it for myself, is this service really that bad? Or are people justified in their thoughts about this being so bad? Like, are people really right that this isn't worth $50 and that the service sucks? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Yeah, this sucks. But something I don't hear people talking about is how this service could actually be improved. We know that Nintendo was really lazy with this, but I feel like there's actually some ways that this could be worth $50 if Nintendo made a few changes and put some more effort in. So today, I want to go over those changes and make this service actually worth $50 and what Nintendo could do to make this service and its price point more justifiable to its consumers. So, let's get into those points in 3, 2, 1, let's go! First, I want to talk about the issue with the game library. Obviously, with this expansion pack, you get the N64 library and the Sega Genesis library, but there is a huge flaw with the Genesis library. There is a Sega Genesis collection on the Switch that's $30 with 50 games in it. So there's no point in getting this at all for the Sega Genesis games when you can just get that on the Switch for less money to have it forever and with 50 games. There's just simply no point to get this simply because of Genesis games, because there's already a reason to play those. So honestly, those could really just be completely scrapped from the service as a whole. And instead, you can either put in Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, or GameCube games. I just feel like with those, there'd be a lot more incentive to get this service. The N64 games are fine, you can keep those in, but I feel like if you put in another Nintendo library, that would make this more justifiable, especially with GameCube games, because those are ridiculously overpriced nowadays. So by putting those in, I think it would bring more incentive to players to get this service, instead of adding in basically Nintendo 64 and another service that people really aren't going to play, because there's already a much better way to get those on the Switch for less money. So by adding in GameCube libraries and Game Boy, I think that would just help out the service a whole lot more. However, that isn't the only issue with this service. I want to talk about the Nintendo 64 starting game library, because it is not good at all. The issue with it is that so many of it is Mario, and it just lacks recognizable titles. Like Mario 64, Mario Kart, Ocarina of Time, yeah, those make sense to be there. But there's these 2 other games that I've never heard of, and I've never heard anybody be excited for these in here. And like Mario Tennis and Dr. Mario, why? Why are those in the starting roster? I just don't get it. I feel like in order to convince people to get this from the start, you'd have to have a good starting roster of games. Now, I get that there's only 9 and there's going to be more coming later, but we need to have those recognizable titles and big titles here from the beginning. Like, I'm just, like, look at this. I made this starting roster, like, 10 months ago. This is the roster that we should have started with. It has big franchises. It has Zelda, it has the fair share of Mario, Pokemon, Kirby, Donkey Kong, Paper Mario, Smash Bros. It has all of these big franchises while the service really doesn't have any. and that's a big problem with it. And it's not even just the starting library that's the problem. We don't even know what's going to be coming to the updates. Yes, Nintendo said Paper Mario, Banjo-Kazooie, and all those are going to be coming, but when? If this is anything like the NES and Super NES online services, then we're screwed. It takes forever for those to get updated, and this is probably going to be the same way, seeing how we've heard nothing about it. So I just really don't think that the game library is good, and it's not going to be updated nearly frequently enough for this to feel justified and warranting a purchase. So if the game library from the start was just fixed, and maybe if we can get a confirmation of when the updates are going to come out, and hopefully them being like monthly or something, then maybe that would be worth it. But for now, I really just don't see it as worth it at all for these games. Next, let's talk about the online functionality. These games run awful. I'm not even trying to over-exaggerate. They run awful online. These are over 20-year-old games, and they run terribly. What the heck? Did Nintendo even playtest these before releasing it? I wouldn't doubt it by this point, because these are awful. There's so much input to lag, and they're just unbearable to play online. And these are 20-year-old games. Come on, Nintendo. Are you kidding me? I just, if you want to play these games online, don't even bother. It's unfun. It's unplayable. Just don't do it at all. Like, this is the main selling point of this service, to play these games online. And it doesn't even work. When the main selling point of your online doesn't even work, that is a problem. But it's not just for these N64 games that need to be fixed. If this expansion pack gave us better online servers, I think that would make this pack a lot more worth it, even with the $50 price point. If this allowed for better online compared to the normal pack, with the Super NES games and NES games, I think this would honestly be completely worth it. Because you know that Nintendo's online connection isn't the greatest. So by fixing this with this pack, I think that would make this a whole lot more justifiable, and it would make a lot more consumers happy. Not only would these N64 games be a lot more playable online with less input lag, but it would also make the normal Switch games better too, which would just be perfect for them to do. But they didn't, because they were being lazy with this. If they just fixed that, honestly, that could be enough alone to sell this pack. But I still do have some more ideas I want to go over. Next, let's talk about Happy Home Paradise being looped in here. This is just flat out stupid. This is stupid. In terms of marketing, yeah, it's good for them, but this is just awful for consumers. Just awful. I get that Animal Crossing is a popular game and all that, but not a lot of people have Animal Crossing. So bundling in a game, like bundling a DLC for something that they might not even use just to make the price of this service go up is awful. You're making people charge extra for this service for something that they can't even use if they don't have the game, which is just awful to do. It is simply awful. And it's not even just that. I get Nintendo is putting this in here in order to make people buy the service, have a bigger incentive to buy Animal Crossing so they can actually use one of the features of this service, but it's just so awful for them to do. I mean, in terms of business, yeah, it's good, but it's just awful for them to do this for its consumers. Lastly, I want to discuss what other features they should have added to this aside from games, because this whole service is just pushing games, get your retro freaking games. But there's more to an online service than just that. There should be a bigger incentive for people who aren't interested in these games to buy it. The Switch is honestly lacking a lot of features, and there's a lot of ways it can be improved. So if you put those features in this expansion pack, I think that would give a lot more incentive for people to buy it and would make the price, again, more justifiable. You know how there's no folders for the Nintendo Switch? What if they included folders for getting the online expansion pack? That would be awesome. That would be so easy to do, and it would give people an incentive. What if, let me see. Oh, themes! The 3DS had themes, the Switch doesn't. what if you get this expansion pack and it gives you the opportunity to have unlockable themes? Like by playing games and getting certain achievements with the expansion pack, you can get unlockable themes for doing that and customize your Nintendo Switch background. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Or, let me see. Okay, you know how the Nintendo Switch has gold points when you buy games on the eShop? What if you bought the expansion pack, the amount of gold points you get would double? Or even then, just give bigger discounts for games. That would give more people an incentive to buy. Just stuff like that. Just tiny little things like that would make this service so much more justifiable and so much better to an average consumer. And I don't even think that the price would be bad at all if it was for this. But for the price as it is, it's just awful for what we get. So combined with the price and the fact there's no extra features like what I listed, this service simply isn't worth it. But if these stuff were added, I truly think it would be worth it. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch Online service right now kind of blows. But if they add these features, I actually think it could be a lot better. Now, Nintendo never will, because Nintendo never listens to anybody. But if they did, I truly don't think many people would complain that much. So, I want to know what you guys think. If all these things I said in the video did happen, like bigger game libraries, a better starting roster for the N64 games, better online, and the features I listed like themes, folders, and other things, would you buy this service if it was still $50? Personally, I wouldn't hesitate at all to do that, but I want to know your guys' thoughts too, because I truly do think this service could have been worth paying for if Nintendo just put a little more care and effort into it and listened to their fans a bit more. Now, Nintendo's Nintendo, so they obviously are never going to do that, but if they did, I truly do think a lot of people would be happy, which is why I want to know your thoughts on this. So how would this fan-made service make you feel? Would you still feel upset about the price point? Would you feel a little more justified in doing so? Let me know down below, because I'm really interested to see what you have to say. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. This was such a fun video to make, and I'll be seeing you soon. Later.